Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. We are buzzing as always. Another lovely day in Toronto. We've been blessed with some great weather here. Super pumped to have today's guest on the show today, and this is going to be an absolute banger. And we are going candidly a little above my pay grade here with what our guest Sam Williams is going to be coming in hot with today. This is some complex stuff, but this is literally what we need to get to the next realm of AI and crypto. Today we have Sam Williams on the show today, creator of AO and Arweave, as well as founder and CEO of Forward Research, a venture protocol development company dedicated to growing the permaweb ecosystem. AO is a decentralized supercomputer powering internet scale applications integrated with Arweave's perpetual data storage. He's building towards a vision of a truly decentralized web where user rights are immutably protected and software and data is permanent, and believes that permaweb's unique approach to data storage and its potential for creating truly decentralized applications will revolutionize the way we interact with the internet. Again, some wild stuff here. Can't wait to get into it. Sam, welcome to the show, my friend. Pumped to have you on.
Thanks for having me on. It's going to be fun.
Let's jump right into it here. Let's go back to, I guess, the inception point. What was the origin story of Arweave? You were doing your PhD, I believe, back in 2017, and you were like, you know what? Screw this. We're doing Arweave. We're making it happen. And you were very early on this like decentralized storage, permanent storage, AI. Was this all part of it? Like, give me the whole story. Set the table for us here.
Yeah, well, so I got started building Arweave because basically, I was coming to the end of my PhD and I was looking at the world and I was in kind of despair is too strong a word, but I was like, damn, things are going to get bad. Like, there are periods of history, right, where like things happen. I think, great, let's start with the Stalin quote. Maybe it's Lenin. But he says something like, well, there are centuries where nothing happens and decades where everything happens. And I screwed up the quote. But it's something like that. My sense at the time, and I still think so now, is we're in one of those periods where things are starting to happen and change very, very rapidly. And it was really sort of spurred to action by a few different things. I saw that the Snowden leaks actually was the first thing that really personally struck me as like, okay, we might be entering a new sort of digital authoritarian era. And then I was looking at the political climate and I was like, well, this is very clearly destabilizing. Like, one way or another. This would be a really good time to have some technology that protected user rights. And the one that I cared so most about was the right to speak. And at the same time, that sort of correlates with this right to be remembered, or the right to have the things that you say replicated over time. And I read some books about, authoritarian regimes of the past, and it was pretty clear that controlling the information space is something that needs to happen in order for them to get started.
It's a tale as old as time. It's happened every single revolution, every single time.
Right, exactly. And I've been watching Bitcoin since like my first recollection, I think, is when it was worth 3 cents.
Holy shit.
But I certainly remember, my friend was, buying interesting things on the internet, and he was telling me about this magic internet money. And I was like, okay, that's cool, man. And at the time, it was like it fit into the world of BitTorrent. It was like along the same sort of vibe. And
cypherpunky.
Yeah. And then he told me, same guy, a few months later, oh yeah, like past $1. And I was like, what do you mean it passed $1? How can magic internet money be worth more than the almighty dollar? How wrong I was. But so I've been working since like really early days and started mining Bitcoin about 2012, I think it was. And then I put some of that Bitcoin into the Ethereum ICO because they were talking about world computer and it just seemed cool. And I was like, crowdfunding was big back then. And so this just seemed like a logical next step. It's like crypto crowdfunding. And so I put in $15, which was what I was going to give Amazon for, for hosting a website for like 2 months or something. And I still can't host a website on ETH.
Yeah.
And so anyway, by 2017, I was starting to think about what to do next. And this just struck me as like, well, this is basically making it so that anyone can publish information, and that information is stored in so many places that no single regime on earth or person would be able to censor it, is something that I think I could build a system that could do this. And that's why we started Arweave. That was 2017, launched the network in 2018. Now it hosts either 17 or 18 billion pieces of information.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's like around 1 billion a month at this point that's getting added to it. So it's progressing exactly an awful lot better than I hoped. So yeah, that's kind of how we got going.
That's wild. I mean, crazy to have the force. Like in 2017, I was graduating university. I was, holy shit. That's wild. None of this was ever on my radar. Now I think about the solution that you are providing, and more so the problem. I think about this probably daily, but 2017 to have the foresight to know that this was going to happen, that's sort of wild. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, at the time, it seemed like I used to think that Arweave is for bad times. We don't want the bad times to come. So in some very strange logical sense, then actually we wouldn't want it to be particularly useful. And yet things have progressed far worse than I had hoped. Like there were things during the pandemic. I won't mention specific instances because that will polarize one side or the other. But I think both sides ended up feeling like the free internet in the West is not as free as you thought by a long stretch.
God, no. I mean, even before COVID with the elections, right? Like yes. that was another big thing that we sort of just kicked under the rug. Sam, let's not worry about that. Let's not think that's some wild shit right there. Sam, I live in Canada. I'm Canadian. I'm sure you've seen the shit that we're dealing with right now. Like,
interesting.
If I say something online about, F the liberals, blah blah, like I could be thrown in jail. Dead ass. Like that's Bill. I think it's called Bill C-17 or something. I don't know, but
16.
Yeah, 16. Anything I write online, I can literally be thrown in the slammer. It's Canada. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm from the UK originally, so and my parents still live there, and yeah, the situation there is
bleak.
Not much better. It's bleak.
Yeah,
it's crazy to see it happening.
Crazy times. Okay, so present day, what kind of content would someone? Well, I guess that's a shitty question on my end. What do the main users look like? Is this companies coming on board and wanting to have their content to be censorship proof and not taken down by the elites or the people in power or whatever, how you want to quantify them and put them in whatever bucket you want? Is it individuals? Maybe Matt writes a blog, maybe it's a little spicy. Who uses Arweave right now?
Well, I mean, many people. The cool thing is it's at its base layer. What is it? It's on-chain storage. Just people in crypto would understand it, but to the layperson, it's permanent storage. It's just storage that's replicated in so many places it can't feasibly be or plausibly be lost. So people use it for all sorts of things. One that is dear to my heart is back at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a country that I won't name that had pretty draconian lockdown laws, and the information getting out from those places was very, what would you say? It was fragile. Like the information distribution systems were extremely fragile, and people started uploading some of that content to Arweave and then spreading those links around. And so it's really used on the ground in information at-risk environments. But it's also just used by people all over the place for, it's like, what do you use a hard drive for? What are the use cases for a hard drive?
Millions.
This is like not so dissimilar. Yeah, exactly. So there's all of those sort of angles associated with information sensitivity, let's say. And we think in the really long run, that is the big thing. But the interesting thing about a permanent information storage system is that, like, on day one, it's a cool idea, but like you store a piece of data in it. Well, you probably have the copy on your hard drive, right? Or you have a copy elsewhere. But over time, the original copies get lost, but they don't get lost on Arweave. And so it has this sticky sort of snowball effect where, it just becomes the focal point. It's like if the web had memory built into it, people would come back and they would make use of it to store new things. And in the future, the original copies of those get lost, and you get this like compounding snowball effect that I think
it's a flywheel. Yeah,
it's a flywheel, but it has like at the beginning, right on day one, like if relatively skeptical person, and if I saw Arweave like on day one, I'd be like, it's a cool idea, but like prove it, And the thing is, the only thing that can prove it is time. But now Arweave is like 7 years old. That's something to contend with.
You got battle tested. Okay, well, speaking of proving, let me play devil's advocate here, Sam.
Go for it.
If let's say I'm Trump, okay, and someone uploaded we can cut this if you want, but someone uploaded the Epstein files to Arweave. Don't know who it was. Maybe it was Pam. I forget her last name, but she's like going at
Bondi, I think.
Pam Bondi. Yeah, she's going toe to toe with Trump right now. Whoever. Let's say someone, I don't know who, but someone got a hold of it. maybe it was Miss Maxwell, uploads it to Arweave. Trump and the Gov, the DOJ, FBI, Sam, we're coming to Manhattan. We're coming for you. We're going to take it off. Can't happen, right?
No, I mean, certainly I can't do anything about it. You would have to go to every miner in the world and go, which, yeah. But actually, to be honest, when we started Arweave, I really thought it's great irony. Like, I truly believed at the time that a highly likely outcome, either we completely fail, that was one, or I would end up in the Ecuadorian embassy for 20 years. But I thought, it's like relatively low cost in comparison to the upside of, well, if that were to happen, it means we've succeeded.
Yeah.
And people can speak freely on the internet, full stop. That'd be worth it. But yeah, the irony is actually so I really truly believe this would not be a good thing, personally. But from that came my entire life and everything I care about now. Like, the adventure has consumed me or become me, or I have become part of the adventure. And it's the most amazing thing I could have ever hoped for. But it only came when I come to terms with the fact that this was going to be, built freedom preserving software, because I like freedom.
That's quite a one-liner. Hey, what do you guys do? Oh, we preserve freedom. It's true though. That's big.
Yeah. And
it's not another DEX, not another DEX, not another yield farming protocol.
Yeah. Although now you can get yield. But yeah, certainly not a protocol designed for yield farming. Yeah, I just find that interesting. It was only when I really accepted that this would not be good for my personal freedom, at least, that actually my entire life came out of it. It's a pretty odd dichotomy.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, look, I'm also totally aware that at some point in the future, back then it was okay, what if someone makes WikiLeaks 2 on Arweave?
Yeah.
Right? Totally possible. And if it had been the first thing that people used it for, I think that could have been very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But now, say, someone stores the Epstein files. There are many ways this could still end up working out badly for, say, forward research. But that doesn't really matter, because the network is way outside of us anyway, and it's built by design. And at this point, it's resilient and rock solid without, we get hit by buses tomorrow, all of us, and it wouldn't make a difference. And my hope is also, if it ever does come to that, they will realize very quickly, well, for one, we can't do anything to help them. Sorry, it's simply out of our control. And two, it's not case law, but the precedent is, okay, well, WikiLeaks worked on HTTP, right? You didn't go put Tim Berners-Lee in jail. Please kindly don't do the same to me.
Yes.
But we'll see.
Well said. I love that. I love the humility. You are so friggin' humble, and I love this. Okay. AO. Let's jump into AO. Again, in doing research for the show, I was like, okay, this is way out of my pay grade here.
Hopefully not.
You guys, well, no, it's pretty wild. You're obviously a tech guy. I'm a bit of a tech guy, but AO just celebrated its main launch, full on decentralized supercomputer that can vertically scale to do pretty much anything. That's what I gathered from it. I'll let you explain it, what exactly it is, and why it's so important with the Arweave sort of family and ecosystem.
Yeah. So there is this I was talking before about how there's this long-term thing that plays out with Arweave. It's it becomes this resilient, battle-tested, safe place to put data, and that compounds over time because it just never forgets and it just grows in.
Yeah. People
come back to it. It's very sticky in that sense. But interestingly, we worked out about a year after the launch. This was completely, when we were designing this was completely outside of our scope or understanding, but it's now very obvious. Permanent information storage is about time, you would think. But there's actually something else about it that's super, super powerful, which is that the information that you store inside it is ownerless after you do so. It can be trustlessly accessed by anyone. And the person that put it there in the first place can't revoke it. And a simple use case for that, the first that we started exploring in the ecosystem, in fact, the ecosystem really grew around this idea, was, web applications. Right? You upload the web application UI once, and if the infrastructure it's using is all on the permaweb, so it's all decentralized, then the person that uploaded the application can't take it away from you. They can't go in and alter it. It's you have the smart contract properties that we know from Bitcoin and Ethereum, Ethereum and Solana, say, applied to full web applications. Simple use case, something like decentralized Twitter, right? And then it turns out, compute logs, another thing that if you can make compute logs, the addition of information to you want to compute something, you want to run some program. Well, there's a set of inputs that come along to the program over time. If you can store those inputs and the program itself in a way that is trustless and decentralized, you have the basis of a smart contracting system. And because Arweave, we
good point.
really...
Yeah. So yeah, it's true, I guess. No, I've never thought about it like that before.
Yeah, it's not the way that people think of it, but it is true that actually what is a blockchain node software really doing? Well, it is synchronizing data. It's mostly about data. And then it's just got these database addition rules. Basically, it says, should I write this piece of new information into the database? Yes or no? And that is what we perceive as smart contracts. But really, under the hood, what's happening is just data is being thrown around. And Arweave is, you can think of it like, this is for slightly more technical people in the audience, gossip network that never forgets. It's like a peer-to-peer distribution of information system that just doesn't forget your stuff over time.
Yeah.
And so it will gossip from the past to the future. And long story short, in fact, we were really trying to solve our own problem when we started AO. So we wanted to move Odyssey, which is this, I call it Web3 social network. It's not really decentralized. There's a little cog or two in it, in its like original form that were decentralized. And the community was very passionate about decentralization, but the delivered product just wasn't decentralized in any real sense. We wanted to move Odyssey to Arweave. It has like 7 or 8 million registered users and about 18 million monthly actives. It's like pretty big for crypto.
Candidly, I've never even heard of this. And like I should. I
know.
I've got 400. I think you're number 460. And I've never even heard of this before. So no, I got to level my shit up here.
Well, it's interesting because Odyssey was popular or became popular first during the pandemic period for people that just wanted access to information without the algorithm either censoring completely or just downranking information that was against the various regimes that had a point of view to push. Yes, but when we were sort of going down this process of, okay, easy to decentralize the data, but we want to make it so that the economics of this are better for creators. And then creators will bring the audience over time. Like fundamentally, if you're a creator, well, you tell me, I guess you are one, I'm not. But from what I see, your whole livelihood is attached to the distribution channels that you put a lot of effort into building. And your access to that distribution can just be like arbitrarily turned off by someone if you say the wrong thing, and they won't really tell you what the wrong thing is. And the wrong thing changes over time.
It's wild. It's like, think about 99% of crypto where, I mean, Project X in the Hyperliquid ecosystem was a great example. Over the last 2 days, they meticulously did a almost perfect launch because of how powerful the two founders' X profiles are. Their whole livelihood is based on their X profiles, and they deserve it because they're so good at what they do. But at any point, Elon could be like, fuck you, and the parade's done, which is wild.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
What if Apple Podcasts and Spotify, by far our two biggest, listenership avenues and distribution channels, says, nah, you're done. You spoke with Sam about the Epstein files today. You're going, like, that could happen. You know what I mean? So
yeah, totally.
It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So the permaweb solves that for people. So it's okay, you own your connection to your audience. No one can take it away from you. It's yours in the same way that you own your laptop or anything else that's physical. And then on top of that, if you look at the structure of things, it's like, okay, you build up an audience inside a platform. The platform is owned by a company. The company is incentivized by the nature of companies themselves to maximally extract from its audience. But the funny thing is that the platforms themselves are extremely, extremely simple. Like, go on Claude Code and ask it to spit out Twitter clone. And it'll do it in 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It'll be like, okay. So the technology, the software there is not difficult. It wasn't difficult 3 years ago. And today it's you don't need to code to be able to.
Yeah, I could build that and I don't know how to code. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And so if you really look at the structure of things, well, what they're trying to protect is these network, social graph, walled gardens, and using that to maximally extract profit from people. What if we flipped it instead and said, okay, people that create content by default own their content and they can still publish it, but they can attach rights to it, licensing rights.
Yeah.
And they can say, okay, if you want to access this podcast, you pay 10 cents.
Yeah.
5 cents.
Micropayments.
That's what it is. Exactly. And you can even tokenize that royalty stream then and make that tradable.
Yeah.
And so we thought that we still do think, this, if executed correctly, could be a big, big thing, particularly where the web is going now with AI. It seems obvious to us, at least, that the user interfaces are going to become thinner and thinner and potentially even just generated on the fly, personalized for each user. Then really, it's just about the data and the social graph attached, which are really the same thing in some sense. Well, the permaweb is perfectly positioned for that. It's an open data lake, and you can build any user interface you want on top of the entire data set. If you're a developer listening to this, you can get started building on Arweave. And when you build a new app, you don't start with like an empty database. You have 18 billion pieces of information inside. And by the way, all the infrastructure scales so that you don't even need to worry about that side either. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But for content creators' perspective, we want to make it so that it's like, this is where I want to primarily publish. And then, yeah, sure, I'll use the centralized platforms as well. But like,
this is the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly. when you talk, sorry to interrupt you here, Sam, when you talked about that little spiel you went on, that was very 2021, early 2022 NFT, like with the property rights and not trademarking, but, you know, royalties and all that kind of stuff. I still think that ethos, you and I are in the same boat here. I still think that is the future. It's just not shitty JPEGs. It's actual content like this. It's not, I have a cool cat somewhere down there that I spent $3K on, and I got an offer for $150K. I turned it down. I was like, oh, this thing's going to go to $1 gazillion. That was the dumbest, like, it was a fucking JPEG. How dumb could I have been? Again, you live and you learn, but that's what it's all about. It's like this content that we have, maybe not a great example, but if it's just me or just you and we put some gold out there, it would be great to let people use this in a way they want while you getting a cut. But NFTs wasn't that. JPEGs weren't that, you know?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so we also got like a front row seat to the JPEG mania.
Yeah.
Because like on Solana, it's like 60-70% of all of these JPEGs ended up on Arweave. Ethereum. Not less, but
yeah, it was Pinata for Ethereum, right?
Yeah. The IPFS ecosystem, or actually the Ethereum ecosystem, was more attached to IPFS by default at the start, and then they sort of had them.
But isn't that just AWS too?
I mean, IPFS is so what IPFS is under the hood is a distributed hash table. But the funny thing is, like, the thing you really need to know about it is in the name, yet no one pays any attention to it. It's a file system, the interplanetary file system. Okay. So many people understand vaguely that their hard drive is formatted in a file system.
Exactly. Yep.
But that is not the hard drive. And that's the same thing with IPFS. It is a file system in that it will organize files and let you find them if they are stored on a storage medium. Yeah. And so basically, ultimately, what ends up happening is people store their data in these like centralized providers, and no one is incentivized to replicate it, but IPFS will help you find it. But it's using...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this distributed. Almost no one does.
I didn't know that.
And it really didn't help that for a few years they also claimed that it was permanent.
Well, that's what I was like, it's not, you know, like someone, whoever launches the smart contract and signs up. And the best part is with Pinata, at least when I was helping, you know, consulting some NFT companies, I didn't do it myself, but I would help whoever the founder or whatever do this. You put in your credit card for Pinata. Like, it's a credit card payment. Like,
yeah, it's not like, don't get me wrong, it's cool technology, and it was actually pushing the boat quite a lot further than it had gone before. But distributed hash tables, the same thing, that they go back to this system called Nutella, which was pre-Napster, LimeWire. These types of things are all based on the same idea.
Yeah.
And then later BitTorrent. But it's not a storage system. It's a sort of data search system almost. You give it an address and it can help you find it even if it's not on one machine. But there's a big problem with this, which is that I think IPFS actually has a pretty good implementation of a DHT, but DHT suck. It's a cool technological idea, and if I was in a place that like data was very hard to get access to, I would be glad to have it in my toolbox.
Yep.
But like, it's too slow. There's no incentives on the routing. And so with Arweave, what we also did is we incentivized the miners to work together cooperatively to store a full replica of the data set and to know how to route you to any other piece of the data. Because like IPFS, we know this because lots of people are just uploading from IPFS and they've got these scrapers. So take data, they resolve it on IPFS, put it on Arweave.
Sounded right, yeah.
But it takes 7 minutes. Not sometimes, that's actually the average case, 7 minutes to resolve the data from address to content. It's like, that's not gonna work. And so, yeah, with Arweave, what we did is, as well as actually having incentives to replicate the data and permanently as well. With a storage endowment, we incentivize them to work together to store a full replica and then be able to route anyone that asks them to the data in one hop. So you get like 2 hops. You go to one miner. That miner might not have the data, but they can sure as hell tell you how to get there because they're paid to have access to it. And so, anyway, that's tangent IPFS.
Very cool. Hold up, Sam. You're on a roll.
Yeah.
I got to cut you off. Shout out to our sponsor of the show, PrimXPT. When we get back, we're going to keep buzzing. Huge shout out PrimXPT, longtime friends and longtime sponsors of the Crypto News podcast. We love the team at PrimXPT as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. Doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. PrimXPT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50, that's CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, that's CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. And now back to the show with Sam. Quick little fun question as I'm doing the ad read, which I do in my sleep. I'm thinking of what is our next prompt? How are we going to jig and jag here? What, and I know you guys probably can't tell me this, but what do you guys spend a month on your version of AWS or storage or Azure or whatever? It must be absurdly high.
No, like we store, with storage, like we built a network with what's about 150 petabytes of capacity. And I think across the entire dev team, we probably put 600 terabytes of storage to that 2 full Weave replicas right now. No, the network does it itself.
That's
we don't pay anything for storage. Really.
I know you guys don't. I mean, like on the back end.
Oh, the whole network.
Yeah.
Oh, the network level. Okay, yeah. Okay, got it.
Like it's massive.
I would have to work it out. Yeah, I mean, it pays for about 150 petabytes at about 87 cents per terabyte a month, something like that. But it's crazy cheap relative to AWS.
Yeah.
It's like almost 25th of the storage acquisition cost for Arweave. So it's permanent storage. You pay into an endowment. You don't buy it on a month-to-month basis. But what the network pays to miners is on a block-to-block basis. Yeah, and that's 87-ish cents per terabyte month, where S3, the equivalent tier, is about $23. And even then, we think that there's quite a lot of room for that market to become more efficient. It's just crazy how much cost of trust is. Like, why go to S3? It's just because the companies trust it. And so they charge like a 25x markup. It's really wild.
And their cost is next to nothing. I mean, it's build once, make sure the fans are on, and that's it. It's a great business model.
Yeah, I mean, I think an interesting thing with deep in networks like Arweave is that because the cryptography enforces a service level agreement, we actually don't care how they achieve the task. Just prove to us that you're storing the data and you can access it at some certain like minimum read speeds, about 5 megasecond or something like this. And then the network will pay you. And so people like hyper optimize. They do not look like AWS, data centers, which are probably actually quite a lot more expensive to run. And then there's a markup on top of that even. Yeah, it's just like guys in garages and stuff, in basements and all sorts of places all around the world. But the user doesn't have to care because the cryptography is keeping their data safe and ensuring. Exactly.
Keep the power on. It's all we need.
Yeah. And if the power goes out somewhere, it'll incentivize someone else to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta love the Web3 world. I wish we had more time here, Sam. This is too much fun. And we barely scratched the surface. Talk to me about the token. This was, I looked online about it. Everyone was like, it was a relatively flawless launch. Again, I didn't do a deep dive on the token. Appeared like it was a fair launch as well. I could be wrong there. I love what you guys did with this. And in doing this, I saw some questions about like, what's the utility? Why? I know the utility word gets thrown around all the time, but give me the TLDR before we let you go, as we're getting tight for time on AO token.
Okay, got it. Yeah, AO token. Yeah, so 100% fair launch. 36% of the token supply goes to Arweave token holders just for holding ARP. And this helps in the security of AO because we use it to store all those input locks.
Yeah.
And then the rest goes to people just bridging in assets to the ecosystem. That's it. There's no, that's 100% of the pie. Yeah. And it is emitted just like Bitcoin. And there was no insider access or anything like this. It's literally open, public, with neutral rules from day one, which is something we're really happy about. And I think sets up the network for success in the long term, because people understandably have these grudges against these sort of slightly manipulative schemes, right? Where it's like, okay,
deservedly so. I mean, the crypto folks have been burned so many times. It's time to do shit the right way.
Yeah, and well, the funny thing is, the right way to do it was actually not so dissimilar than the very first way to do it.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I mean, the only modification we made to the Bitcoin emission schedule was, instead of having halvings, we have this sort of exponential decay. So there's no like one date where suddenly the emission drops a large amount. I think it's very ironic that like what was easy for Satoshi to program, which is like bit shift right, it's literally like moving the bits to the right, that became monetary policy. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, so we modified that bit a little bit. But other than that, it's just like Bitcoin, and anyone can get access to it. And all they need to do is just deposit funds and use AO and hold R. It's pretty simple. And then for Arweave itself, the usage that AO has generated has pushed Arweave deflationary. Like, this is super unknown in the crypto world. But yeah, R is now deflationary just by people using it. It has this, I didn't intend for it to be this way, but I think it's an incredibly nice mechanism. We were very focused on, okay, look, just how do you store data permanently? Well, the way that you can do that, I think the only way anyone's ever proposed, even up to this day after like people start trying to copy Arweave, is a storage endowment. So basically, when you put data into Arweave, you pay for 200 years worth of storage. Cost of storage declines over time. 200 years expands out. And you just pay for it as you go from the minus for what the actual storage cost is on a day-to-day basis. What's interesting about that is that there's no cut. There's no extra fee on top. It's not extractive to the user. You just pay what the network thinks 200 years worth of storage would cost at present day prices. And the effect of this is that large amount of tokens are taken out of the supply, like virtually burnt, depending on your future projections
yeah.
And like, if the cost of storage does decline at a reasonable rate, and 0.5% is like about a 65x safety margin, something like that, then those tokens, and if you do any simulation of it, they just never come out of the endowment at all. They are essentially burnt.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the only way you could really compete with the system is by increasing risk. You say, maybe we could do like 50 years or something, but then it's just riskier.
Yeah.
And so from the user's perspective, they're simply not being extracted at all. But from the network's perspective, the token supply just shrinks proportionate to usage over time. So it has a very clear value accrual mechanism. Yeah, I think this is really nice. It's like not extractive for the users, which makes it extremely hard to compete with. And at the same time, like these steeped networks where they're kind of payment tokens, you use the token to pay someone for a service that's rendered today. Okay, the token, someone buys it, they transfer it, the miner sells it, right? So the token time value sink is very small. The velocity is high.
It's almost like it's almost horizontal inflation, sort of. The non-year version of the deep in model, where it's just like the token goes like this and comes out the same end, and then another token is printed. It's pretty much horizontal inflation.
Yeah, and with Arweave, it's like you're basically burning the supply proportionate to the decrease in storage costs over time.
Unless you're Brian Johnson and you're going to live 200 years, then.
Okay, something I've been wanting to tweet for a while. Don't digitally die is going to matter way more than don't physically die. It's your data, because people will train LLMs and they won't really be stretching the bounds of what you call language.
Say that again for me.
And don't digitally die is far more important than don't physically die. Your data defines you, and you can make a replica. It's almost like all the inputs and output pairs that we have with computers give you something like a brain scan. They allow you to more or less upload your brain.
Wow.
And
Sam,
even today we can...
You scared the shit out of me. I got to do a big internet scrub. I think we all do. Okay, Sam, this was an electric episode. I mean, it's an absolute treat talking to you. I love watching you speak because I can see your head just spin, which I love when a guest comes on and they don't look at me and they like look in the... Anyways, this was so much fun. We barely scratched the surface. You got to come on for round 2 because, again, we barely got into it. But before you go, please let our listeners know where they can find you personally and, of course, Arweave online and on socials.
Yeah, so I'm sam.arweave.net or sam.any Arweave Gateway. There's like 300 of them. I'll take you there. You can also find me on X, Sammy C. Williams. And yeah, Arweave and AO, just Google for them. There's so many community sites and things. Yeah, we have main sites that we made, but I don't even think they're the best at this point. Yeah, just search around, you'll find it. Google is your friend.
Folks, what an episode with Sam Williams, founder of Arweave. He came in hot, dropped tons of knowledge bombs, very philosophical as well. This was an absolute treat of an epi. Sam and I were a little tight on time. We started recording a little late, but we're going to have him on for round 2 to go on an even deeper dive. Again, I have so many show notes and discussion points and talking points that we didn't even get to touch on. So we will touch on those in the near future. Huge shout out to Sam and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did. Please do subscribe. My team, love you guys. Thank you for everything. Back to the listeners, love you guys. Touch some grass. Keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy, and keep on growing those bags. Love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Ciao.